Hi, my name's Anita with Heinz Brothers Greenhouse, and I'm here today to show you moss poles. We're going to talk about planting this plant onto a moss pole. One of the reasons you would use a moss pole is to give yourself some visual interest, add some height to your plant, or just to keep it from going crazy and trailing everywhere. So when we get started, this one has a rock at the bottom to kind of hold it steady once it's in the pot. I've already placed this one in here. This was a longer one, so I bent it into a shape that I liked. I've put some rocks at the bottom of the base to make sure that it can stand somewhat on its own. Now we'll fill it with soil. Now generally I would consider this pot a little large for this size of a plant. That is part of why we put in so many rocks at the bottom. That's going to increase the drainage and not leave so much soil to hold water and bring on problems like root rot, fungus gnats, all those things that happen from too much soil in a big pot. Great. Now what I'm trying to look at is roots like these. This is an epipremnum, which is in the pothos family. So they have these nodes at the back. There's a front and a back to your plant. You're going to want to make sure that those nodes go kind of along your moss pole, because that's what's going to want to collect the moisture. All right, now we'll get this potted up. We'll take it on out, loosen our roots a little. Set it in. Sometimes I like to just get my hands dirty. Now that it's all settled in the pot, we'll start figuring out how to trail it on here. Once again, paying attention to those nodes, kind of bringing it around. Sometimes people want to wrap, but if the nodes are going to fight you, you can't really wrap it that way. You'll have to just let the plant tell you how it wants to lay. There we go. And it can come up like this. And for today, we're going to be using the Velcro straps. I tend to like those a little bit better than trying to tie it. They just pop around and stick nicely like that. You're going to want to make sure you leave a little room for them to wiggle, because if you squeeze it tight, you'll essentially cut off their circulation and they won't be able to get all those nutrients and water up to the tips to keep on growing. Sometimes as they match up, you can use the same tie for two leaves or two vines. Let's see who else we have. I'm going to let this one curve around the bottom of the pot. Let's see, we've got one here. And be sure to check the vines you have growing and make sure they're not too knotted or twisted. I'm going to send this one right up the backside here. There we are. So for now, I know it doesn't look like it's a lot, but as these grow up and around, you'll continue to keep training and tying, and you can eventually have, I think this one looks like a little swan. Because we potted this one up in a terracotta pot, they're porous and moisture can wick out of them. So even though we're going to place it on this tray, the moisture can go through and get to your surfaces like your flooring or your countertops, whatnot. These eco cork mats are a really great solution to that problem. We place them down like this. You put this on here and you place your beautiful plant on there. And the cork will absorb any extra moisture and prevent it from getting to anything underneath.